Welcome to Spotlight Sessions, where we shine
What's
a light
your
on
story?
incredible. What does accessibility mean to you?
What's your mission? Welcome all to ASFVISION Spotlight Sessions, where we shine a light on incredible individuals and organizations and the work that they do. I'm your host, Josh Basil. I'm a C4-5 quadriplegic, paralyzed below my shoulders, and a power wheelchair user. I'm the Community Relations Manager at accessiBe's and a passionate disability rights advocate and attorney, focused on breaking down barriers to access and inclusion for people with disabilities. Today on accessiBe's Spotlight Sessions, we are joined by Anthony Ferraro, the co-founder of ASFVISION, LLC. Welcome, Anthony.
Thanks for having me, Josh. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm excited to have you here today. And let's before we dive into ASFVISION, tell me a little bit more about yourself and what it took to become a professional athlete and professional musician.
So I'm 27 years old. I was born blind I was born blind with an eye condition called Leber's congenital amaurosis, and it's a degenerative eye condition. So I grew up in a huge family. Also, I was the youngest of five, and I was never treated any differently. I grew up like skateboarding, surfing, riding my bike until I hit parked cars and stuff like that. And I in seventh grade, I started wrestling, and I was awful. Like I was so bad. And finally, at the end of the year, like I went 2-12, and one of my wins was just a forfeit where you go and get your hand raised. And I wanted to get better. And I remember leaving that the last match of the year and being like, Dad, I want to get good at this. Like I want it, whatever it takes. I want to get better. And I started going to a wrestling club, nonstop, and um, going to tournaments every weekend, and finally, turning a little corner in wrestling and working really hard, like putting those hours in.
It
And the
sounds like
next
you
year I
got
went,
pretty good.
what was that? Sorry.
Sounds like you got pretty good.
Yeah, the next year I ended up going like 24-1, and then winning like all the Tri-County Championship and all this stuff. And then, in high school I did pretty well. There was a documentary made about my career, and that was done by my brother and this guy Chris Sikorsky. And they once that film was out, a person who saw it, it was in 2015. Someone who saw it was in the United States Olympic Committee, and they had contacted me asking me if I would consider training judo for the Paralympics, because there was no wrestling, but judo is very similar. And they were really impressed with like my skill and everything. And it was cool because it went from wrestling sighted people to fighting against other visually impaired individuals.
That's so cool. And how did that go?
It went well. I'm like 5 years in. I'm ranked 23rd in the world currently, trying to make it to Paris Olympics. And I'm ranked one in the country, and uh, I have Pan American Championships in December in Canada, so it's a really big competition, and it's just been going well. I really enjoy it. It's hard work. It's another discipline, and it's just like a way to stay in shape and stay healthy as well.
I recommend all of our viewers to check out the documentary that you mentioned that your brother and was it Chris or
Yeah, Chris Sikorsky.
Chris Sikorsky put together. I watched
It's
the
called A
trailer,
Shot in the Dark.
A Shot in the Dark. It's amazing. I can't wait to watch the full thing. How can they watch the full thing?
So right now it's on Amazon Prime. It's on Apple TV, Google Play, and Hulu as well.
I love having options. That's all
Yeah.
on many platforms. And what about being a professional musician? Tell me a little bit more about that.
So one day my dad's always played music, and I've loved music. But one day I was sitting in my backyard, and my dad's playing the trumpet, and my buddy starts playing the drum. He plays drums, my friend, and I was like, this is, I want to be a part of this. Like, I feel left out. And I ran downstairs and grabbed a guitar that we had from my uncle, and my dad taught me my first chord, and I was just started banging away on the guitar with them, like feeling like I was a part of it, and I just fell in love with music. And I was when I was like 18 years old, and I I then, I was so bad, like just like when I started wrestling, like my family wouldn't even let me practice in the same room with them. Like they would call me Stone Hands. I didn't even know what rhythm was. Um, it was just a mess. But then I kept doing it every day and fall in love with it. I bring my guitar to school and stuff and play in between, like at lunch and whatever, whenever I could get a chance. And I made a little band with my buddies. We all jammed throughout, you know, like college years and stuff, and went played bars and all this stuff. And now I'm recording songs and playing a lot of acoustic gigs. I just played my first music festival in Arizona, and it's going really well. I enjoy playing music. It's a way to give back to people and make other people happy. During the pandemic, my wife and I, like, everything was shut down, even though like couldn't train with judo, anything. And we decided to take, because the only way I found that I could make people smile at the time was through music. And my wife and I, Kelly, we decided to plan a 10,000-mile cross country music tour where we set up in all these remote locations and with like beautiful backdrops, and live streamed it to the world to try and like get people out of their funks for a little bit. It was
That's
really
awesome.
awesome.
No, it's so awesome, so cool, and definitely probably made an impact on a lot of people's lives during the crazy
It,
days we live in. And
it was fun.
but so I would love to know more, being able to like travel to all of these matches in high school and the matches across the world with judo. You probably got some pretty funny stories or just interesting stories to say the least. Is there one that kind of jumps out that you could share with our viewers?
Oh man, I'm trying to think of a good travel story. You know, going to countries I had never even heard of before, like Azerbaijan. I had never heard of it before I went there, and it's in like Central Europe, or Central Asia rather. And it was like it was so just incredibly different. And like when I remember going shopping is always like the cool thing, because you can like find out what they're wearing and all these different things. And like I remember finding these like crazy hats that were like afro hats, like they're afros but made of like goat and like sheep hair, and it was like so strange. I remember putting those on and being like, what is going on? It smelled like a freaking a barn. But I can't think of too much travel stuff that because you're always with the team and stuff. Me and Kelly do a lot of traveling after competitions, and that's always fun. Um, one time I was eating something in Japan, and I had okay. I'm sorry. I have a story. It just hit me. I was in Tokyo, and we were like, you're eating all this crazy food, so you kind of want like a break from it. At one point, you're like, I just want like a burger or something, right? And we went to a McDonald's, like me and my two blind friends, and we walked to McDonald's from the hotel. I order a 6-piece chicken nugget, right? And so I ordered like a burger, whatever, again, 6-piece chicken nugget, and I go to pay, and it was like 30 something dollars, and I was so confused. I was like, this is really expensive for fast food. And I'm waiting for my food. It's taking a while. They put this tray down. All of a sudden, they bring out 6 4-piece chicken nuggets. So I ended up getting like 24 chicken nuggets with the like the language barrier. So it was just like a funny thing. I remember like giving out nuggets and stuff. I was so full by the end of it, trying to eat them all.
That's definitely that happens with traveling, and you take it, you eat it, you share it, you love it.
Yeah, exactly.
And with that ASF Vision LLC, could tell us a little bit more about that and how people can learn where to go, what website, all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's all on ASFVision.com. It's my business, me and my wife and I. It's really the brand I've created. it's a lifestyle. It's myself. I am ASF, like Anthony Simon Ferraro is my full name, and it's my vision is like to help others, to pick other people up, to create like a positive community. It all happened when the pandemic hit. Like that's when I made social media because there was so much negativity going on and stuff. And that's when I really started going like hard on social media and trying to like create a positive space for people and to pick other people up. And my wife and I, we do it together exclusively. Like she films and edits everything. She edits my podcast. She produces it. She does just about everything, behind the scenes. It's incredible. And then also works a full-time job. But we realized after we got back from doing that 10,000-mile cross-country music tour that we were like, if we make a plan, we can and execute it, we can almost do anything. So we made a plan to like just keep posting and trying to reach people, and it just spread like wildfire, and like it blew up bigger than I could have ever asked for
How
and
many
imagined.
followers do you guys have these days?
I don't know. It's like 2.5 million across like all platforms, I guess. Like TikTok's
Not,
like
not too bad.
1.2 million.
Not too
Did you say
bad.
followers? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
that's
not too
pretty
bad.
pretty
It's
impressive,
like
Anthony.
it's hard to fathom like that, those kind of numbers. Like it's really really blessed, and I'm grateful to be in this opportunity. And it's scary too, you get imposter syndrome and things like that, but you just be true and you be organic and not try to be something you're not.
So for our viewers, what's some messaging you can give to them if they're having a tough day or to overcome obstacles or just tackling life? What kind of messaging could you give to them?
Oh man, I'd say I know people in wheelchairs, like literally in wheelchairs, that are going out and like trying to figure out ways to climb mountains, and they actually are like physically climb mountains, literally. And that's amazing. They're like, it's just no barrier. My friends, people doing stuff, and it's like, I know people at home that have nothing physically wrong with them, and they're just making excuse after excuse of why they can't get a job or why they can't do this, and it's like, at the end of the day, who's disabled? Because in life, the only disability, in my opinion, is like a bad attitude. It depends. And listen, you don't have to be climbing mountains. Like if you like to sew, make sure you do it at the best of your ability. Like put all your time into it. If you like music, just really work at it because things don't happen overnight. And just know, like, life has its struggles. It has its ups and downs, and that we'd have nothing to appreciate if there was no bad. So it's you just gotta take it in strides, and it's like a roller coaster, but it always gets better. And the only disability in life, like I said, is a bad attitude. So it's just how you tackle your day.
It's a roller coaster where it's a ride worth living, and
Exactly, that's for
the
sure.
more you put into it, the more opportunities that can come from it, the more enjoyment you
100%.
get out of it. So I love your voice, your messaging, and tell us a little bit about the podcast and where people can go to listen to
Uh,
that. And
Thanks. Yeah, it's on anywhere you stream podcasts. It's also on YouTube as well. It's called. I do it with my buddy who's also blind. He's a professional skateboarder. His name's Dan Mancina. It's called Four Bad Eyes Podcast. FOUR, and we have a lot of fun. We talk about like our struggles, things we've been through, things we're up to now, how we deal with things, and we interview people as well. And it's a good time. We make a lot of fun content, videos, and stuff, and it's all on fourbadeyes.com. So it's a great
give,
time.
give me one really fun conversation or something that you guys have talked about that is out of the norm.
Oh man, we go pretty deep. We talk about a lot of things. You get the exclusive on this might be TMI, but I had like hemorrhoid and like fissure surgery one time. So we talk about like when I was 25 and pooped myself, different things like that. Like but we
No,
also
no
talk
filter.
about like
You get it all.
yeah, no Phil. It's a place to like really let loose and like for people to see the full side of us.
The real and the raw world of disability and
Yeah,
living we all have those layers. So
Exactly.
and as a quadriplegic, paralyzed below my shoulders, I definitely understand that with you better than most of what it takes
No,
to get up and
I
do everything that we do. We do it, and it might be a little different, but we get it done.
listen. I don't know. I do know how you do it because it's not an option to not do it. But I got a lot of props to you. Just putting yourself in that position is hard. So it's really inspiring. It's like you think your life sucks because you're blind until you meet someone that you think is in a worse off situation, but next thing you know, that person has a way better attitude than you do. You know what I mean?
Well, the truth is you said it best of the only what was it, the bad attitude,
Yeah,
the
the
only
only
disability is
disability
the
is
bad
the bad attitude.
But like, I had a really powerful moment when I was first injured. So this was back in 2004. I was in the ocean. A wave picked me up and dropped me on my head, and I shattered my neck. And when I was in the hospital, as an inpatient, I came back about like 6 months later to the same room I was in just to mentor the next patient that was in there. And the guy was quadriplegic, my level of injury, teenager, and he was basically in a car accident, broke his neck, but then during his surgery had a blood clot and went to his brain, and he was blind. So he was
Oh
blind
my,
and quadriplegic. And
oh my
that day,
gosh.
like, it hit me harder than anything, just to understand things could be worse, and just like,
Could be worse. It's someone's always worse off and someone's always better off. So it's comparison. My niece taught me this when she was like 5 years old. She goes, Uncle Tony, the thief or comparison is the thief of joy.
there you go. And so, like, I'm just like
25-year-old.
thinking of like the only disability is about attitude. I almost want to like add on to the end of that, and then the best attitude is gratitude, like something like that,
That's
because it's like
absolutely.
being grateful for everything. It's there's a lot of little things to be grateful each and every day that we get to wake up and live life and participate and have purpose.
I couldn't agree more. It's all about you got to be grateful, especially for the little wins.
The little wins, the little things. So I want to also ask you, what does accessibility mean to you?
It means really in one word I could sum up is freedom.
Freedom. That's a powerful word. That's an absolute powerful
It,
word.
yeah, I mean, if something's not accessible, it's okay. You make your own accessibility, but making something accessible, even in your own way, it's freedom. It's liberation. You could do it on your own. You know, I can navigate this, whatever. It really is like a wheelchair. That's freedom for you.
Absolutely. If I did not have my
A
power,
cane is freedom for me.
all of those things, whether it's assistive technology, durable medical equipment, or you name it, each one of those pieces
Exactly.
of technology.
Absolutely. Even if it's a braille map, you know what I mean? It's just free. It's very you know you have more information that you wouldn't have.
And if you had like one message for business owners across the country and the world, why is it important to cater to people that are blind, and what would that be and why?
I'm sorry, you just broke up on that last question.
Sure, sure. Um, if there was one message that you could give to business owners around the world, why they should cater to people with disabilities and those that are blind, what would it be and why?
Oof. I think a big thing right now is accessibility on the internet. Their websites. I can't tell you how many times I get to a website that accessible until you hit a certain page, or something won't be highlighted on voiceover or something like, and it's the most. It sucks. It makes me feel like I can't do anything, you know, and then I have to go ask for someone to do it for me, which it's okay. That's one of the biggest things about independence too is knowing when to ask for help. But when you don't need, when you shouldn't have to, because it really is. I've talked to a lot of people in tech. Like, it's not a hard thing to make your websites ADA accessible, compliant. And that for me, like Instagram right now, for example, I'm so upset because they just did an update and now certain things aren't highlighted for voiceover, so I can't click certain buttons on my app, and I can't use Instagram as much as I was able to, and it's really frustrating.
No, it's definitely one of those things. Yes, having those incredible, your wife, people in your lives always kind of be your backup, to have your back when you need help to get through a website. But like the truth is, not everybody has those people.
No, it's very true.
And but like I love your words. I love your vision. I love you've lived an incredible life and will continue to live an incredible life, which I'm very excited to now know you and get to follow you more and join on with the 1.2 or 2 million followers that you have. But like, Anthony, I just want to thank you for being here today on our podcast and sharing your story and your wisdom and all that good stuff.
Thanks for doing this, Josh, and thanks for highlighting people's stories and using your platform to help others. That means a lot, and just to keep going and being an inspiration to everyone. I know that word can suck sometimes after hearing it over and over, but it's, it is what it is because it's true.
Thank you, Anthony. And for all of our viewers for staying to the end, thank you for being here today on accessiBe's Spotlight Sessions. And until next time, take care, everyone.
Thank you.